up? Welcome back to Opposites Attract podcast. This is your girl, Sonja Ramirez, and I am sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
Why do you always give me that look?
Oh my, it's so cheesy.
Hey, the last podcast goodness. When I was like, yo.
Yeah, that too.
You didn't like that either.
It's all good. Do your thing, girl.
We got to keep it entertaining.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I got to keep things moving. So right before we started recording, my husband went into the backyard. My husband.
Your hot, amazing husband?
Yes. I like you today. Yes, hot, amazing husband went in the backyard to talk to our kids. So in case you hear little voices, our house is not haunted. Our kids are in the backyard.
If they come out running through in the windows in the back.
I know. Did you tell them to keep clothes on?
Yeah.
They like to go skinny dipping sometimes, so.
Yep.
So what's going on, babe? How was your week?
It was good. It was a regular week, just good stuff. Nothing too crazy this week.
No? Anything exciting you're going to share with us today, or?
I always got exciting stuff.
Yeah.
You know that.
You know what's so funny?
What?
Okay. So before we started our podcast, I always like to look at his list. Like, I always want to know what's going on. It's so weird because I am so disorganized, but for some reason, and maybe it's because I'm uncomfortable and this is challenging, but I always want to know what's on his list, right? Like, I try to organize this and you're like, no, it's just supposed to be a conversation. That's not how podcast works. And the disorganized one likes to be organized, and I drive him absolutely
And you're
bananas.
the go with the flow person.
Yes. But anyways, so I got my list. And so when he started going over his list, I'm like, how are we supposed to intertwine these two conversations? Like
all you're doing is talking about dicks, and I have like serious religion questions.
Like it's so opposite, totally opposite. And it makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, okay, how are we going to go from that to this?
Yeah. Hey, we've made it. We figured it out the last few weeks. All right.
Yeah. Hey, I pray every time I get in front of this camera.
No big deal. So,
anyways.
Yeah. So let's get into the list.
Yes. Yeah. And pay attention.
So last week we were talking about Facebook.
Yes.
And like not judging your life based off of somebody's Facebook post or their Facebook feed or whatever. And I think everybody knows that. Right. But one thing that I was thinking is like somebody like you see things in a really positive way. Right. So even when you're not having the greatest day, like last week, you mentioned that you had a rough Monday where you were going to call it quits and just chill on the couch. But even that, like you found a way to look at it in a positive way.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think, sometimes even on Facebook, like it's just a matter of perspective, just the way you see things. Mm-hmm. Not everything has to be negative. And I think that's a good thing, if that's the way you see things.
Even though I drive him bananas sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little over the top.
He's like, get out of here. It is not. You're just having one of your moments. You're a very passionate man. You like that?
Very
You're
passionate.
a very passionate man.
Yeah.
And sometimes when he's having a challenge in life, he gets very passionate about it. And so I try to calm him and help him.
Yeah.
And he's like, babe, stop.
There goes.
Look.
And yeah, there goes another one.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So anyway,
they're probably doing that on purpose because Audrey likes her fame.
They're looking for something.
Anyway, Audrey
it's all
wants
good.
her, limelight.
So so that was something that we had mentioned last week. We've had an interesting time with Joey this week. We were talking to him. Was it last week or the week before? We've been trying to teach him about negotiating, right?
Yes.
Because one of the things that we do with the kids so that they can make money, I think we mentioned it on another podcast, is where they buy these little LED helicopters and then they sell them. So I was telling Joey that we're selling these helicopters for $3 a piece, right?
Right.
Or they can buy 2 for $5. Mm-hmm. But I was asking him, so if you sell 2 of them, how much are they supposed to give you? They're supposed to give you 6.
Yeah.
But you're negotiating with them, telling them, look, I'll give you 2 for $5 instead. Yeah. So he's trying to understand. Yeah. He's only 7.
But
so
he didn't get that yet.
He didn't get it at that point.
Until.
So the other day, you had some papers on top of the shredder.
Right.
Yeah. And he's been wanting to make some extra money.
Right.
So he asked you if he can shred your papers. What was it, for $1?
Well,
or was
first,
it $3?
I'm like, oh, he's been so sweet. I'm like, baby, yeah, you can shred them. And he said, for $3. I was like, what? Because the stack
and it was like, 20 pages.
Yeah.
For $3.
$3. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So he goes into the office.
So he just turned around and walked away. No, he was going to go do it for free.
Yes. Aw, it's my son.
But then before he left, I told him, I was like, hey, come back. I was like, so how come mom didn't let you shred the papers for $3? And he was kind of like, I don't know. I was like, maybe $3 is too much money. So why don't you try $2 or maybe $1? And if she still doesn't do it, then maybe you can do it for 50 cents or whatever. Yeah. And
so we negotiated.
You ended at like, what, 75 cents?
Yeah.
So we're just trying to teach him negotiations. But
it didn't stop there. He gets it now.
So now he understands.
Yeah, because we have dogs, and this is something maybe you guys can give us some advice from, but I'm thinking it's our dog. They should pick up the poop in the backyard anyway without us paying them.
That's part of a family responsibility.
Well, that's how I feel it should be, but we pay them to do it.
Yeah.
So the other day, I asked him to pick up the poop.
I thought it was washing your car.
No, that was one. I'm telling you, he's got it.
Really?
It was the car and the poop. So the negotiation for the car was poop was he wanted $5.
Yeah.
I told him I was going to give him $2, and he's like, "No way, I'm not doing it for 2." He told me straight out. He told me I am not doing it for $2.
Now he's understanding value.
So he got me to $3 each, though. $3 for him, $3 for Audrey. And then he negotiated with the car.
All right, you're not allowed to negotiate with them anymore. This kid's been negotiating for a week, and he's already taking advantage of you.
Yeah, anyways. It's a good skill, but then when they start to use it against you...
Yeah. Yeah, so he wanted $5 for washing the car.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So another thing, since we're on the kids subject, and I didn't talk to you about this, but Audrey's 9 years old. And I was trying to figure out when was a good time to talk to her about Aunt Flo coming.
Yeah.
Because she's scared of blood.
When does that start?
I don't even remember. I think my mom said she started when she was 12, but your daughter started when she was 10.
Oh, Jesus.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not something I've talked to you about, but she's scared of blood. She will have an absolute heart attack if that happens.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know about it.
She has no idea.
Yeah.
Well, just mention it to her.
Yeah, but then the whole sex thing's going to come up, and we haven't talked to her about that yet.
We need to talk to her about that.
Like, it's going to bring up a lot of things.
We do need to talk to her about that. We
need help.
We got to do it.
We
got to do it. It's one of those things. It's just, it's one of those things that nobody wants to do.
Yeah. But I'd rather us talk to her.
We have to do it.
Than her learn from outside.
Yeah, we have to do that. So, I don't know. We got to do it. We'll figure it out. And you guys will know about it.
Something.
So, what's up?
Hilarious.
What?
The other day,
Uh-huh.
You were at work?
Probably.
I think. All the kids, we have my nephew right now. We were outside swimming. And I noticed that Joey wasn't out there anymore. So I go look for Joey. And I go to his room. I open his door. His door is closed. Because I'm a mom. That's why. And he was under his covers. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, Joey, like just playing around with him. And he's 7. And he looks up like he was doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing or something that he was embarrassed of. Anyways, he's like, nothing, Mom, nothing. And I'm like, Joey, what do you have? And I'm playing around with him. And I can tell like he's just uncomfortable, like something was going on. And he pulls out his toothbrush, which vibrates.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God. And I'm like, no. Like he's 7.
Yeah?
He's 7.
I have no idea. I don't even know what to say. I mean, he's 7, so I have no clue what the hell he would be doing with his toothbrush. I don't know either. Putting it on his pee-pee?
I don't know.
That kid's been, ever since, when he was a baby, I told you, we used
to have a spa.
Yeah, and he would try to put his pee-pee in the jets.
Anyways, if you have a 7-year-old boy.
Yeah, when does that shit start?
Or if you know, like, when, I mean, you're a man. When did you?
I don't think it was at 7. I don't think I remember doing anything with my pee-pee at 7.
Oh, he's saying pee-pee.
Or my dick.
That's cute. No, keep it pee-pee.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so, that's weird. But, yeah, I have no clue. That's something we need to figure out. So.
But it's natural.
It is, but at 7?
At 7, yeah.
It's natural at 7? I don't know about that.
He just had his toothbrush in bed with him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Me
neither.
We got to ask some questions.
Next subject.
Do a little bit more detective work.
Right.
Holy crap. So, on one of the previous podcasts, we had talked about the pranks that we play on the new guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And I had mentioned the prank about me being really forgetful. And that prank ended. And it was probably one of the best pranks that we were able to pull off at work.
So you ended up pulling it off? Because I thought one of the guys was overreacting.
So, yes. So what happened was I was working with this guy, I don't know, like a week ago. I was working with him, and I was working with him and another guy. And I was having the other guy play along, because the prank was that, if you haven't listened to the other podcast, was that I was real forgetful. I know my stuff, but I was in a car accident, and it's hard for me to remember things that happened recently. So things that happened within a real short period of time, I can't remember. So that's what the prank was. And so I was working with another guy, and I was telling him, hey, tell me to write it down. I'm going to mess with you and act like I can't remember something. And, you can give me a hard time. So while I'm doing this with the new guy and the other guy that's kind of helping out with the prank, somebody else that knows that we're doing this prank comes over and says, hey, don't forget, you need to do this. Write it down. Yeah. Hey, did you forget to sign this off? And then somebody else came by. So now it's 3 people that are, and everybody, not knowing, they're all just kind of bombarding me with the same crap over and over. It's at this point, it's getting unbelievable.
Right. So that ended. And
so I was talking to one of the other guys later, and I'm like, dude, I think the prank's over, because there's no way that he's going to be that was just too much. It was too over the top. It ended up being 5 different people coming and trying to help out, but I thought it was going to mess it up. So anyway, somehow we figured out that he was still believing that I had memory loss problems. So there was a guy that a job came up where we're working on this helicopter, and it's a process of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a long process. And I told him, I was like, let me have that job, because that dude's on it, and this is perfect for somebody that has memory loss. Because I'm going to just go in circles and circles and circles with this dude.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. We ended up working on this thing, and it worked out even better than I had thought, because there's a step in the process where if this thing doesn't line up or it doesn't work exactly the way you're supposed to, you take it all apart and you start from the beginning and do it all over again. So now when we started doing it all over again, I'm like, I have it written down that we should be on this step. And he's like, no, it messed up, so we have to start over. I'm like, yeah, but then why do I have this? He's like, yeah, you wrote it down because we already did it, but we took it back apart. I'm like, so this is no good? And he's like, no. So then I scratched it off. And then we just kept going. I keep asking him about being in the military, because he was in the Navy. And I was like, what did you work on? And he's like, oh, I worked on these helicopters. And then like 10 seconds later, I'm like, so what did you work on? Were you in the military?
You know what this poor guy's thinking?
What?
And people want to know what's going on with Boeing.
Oh my God. No, that's not that. This is just honest fun. But so anyway,
but he didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're doing that. And then so I start one of the guys, like with a real attitude, like kind of being a dick. And he goes, hey, Miguel, don't forget to write it down so that you don't forget, like with an attitude. And I'm standing there with this new guy. And I'm like, you know what? Like I start getting a little personal with him. I was like, this is what makes it hard. I was like, I didn't ask for this. This just happened to me. And I don't know what to do. Like I can't do anything about this. Is what I'm telling. Like I'm getting emotional with the dude. Yeah. I almost made myself cry while I was up there. It was so good. It was hilarious.
So now you're an actor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's good to know.
I told him, I was like, I didn't ask for this stuff. This just happened to me. And then we're working and he has his head down looking at something and I get an idea. And I'm trying so hard not to laugh so that he can hear me. But then I said, but you know what? It's all good. This is the easy stuff. I was like, the work stuff, this is the easy stuff. I was like, the hard part is when I get home. I was like, because my wife just had a baby. And I get home and I can't remember the baby a lot of times. And I'm like, she has to meet me at the door and tell me that we had a kid. And I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, that's my son, man. Like, I love that little guy or her. Or whatever. And he's like, gee, like I'm getting personal and I'm like almost crying. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like he's just getting all tripped out. But then, and I told him that the guys at work, because they know that I forget stuff, they'll have me sign stuff off and tell me that I already looked at it. And I know they're taking advantage of me, but I don't know what to do. So I just sign it off anyway. Like, this is flight safety, flight critical shit that we're looking at.
Right.
And he's like, oh, my God. Like, I can't believe this dude is telling me this. You know? Yeah. But then I told him, I was like, yeah, and these guys around here at work, I was like, a lot of them are cool, but some of them are really messed up. I was like, they like to play pranks on people. You know, like, they hide my stuff, and they'll say that I lost it, and I don't remember where I put it. I was like, they also play pranks on new guys, like, about people that can't remember shit. Like, they have memory issues. And he's like, yeah, that's messed up. And then I had to like come back around and he's like, wait, what? You don't have? And I was like, no, dude. I was like, I met you over like 2 weeks ago over by the water cooler. We were talking about the Navy. I told you about the Air Force and all this other. And he's like, you got to be shitting me. He freaking, yeah. He had no clue. It was insane. They do.
It's just, yeah.
So, yeah. So that's how that prank ended. So it worked out really good. Better than we had expected. I think that's probably been one of the best ones.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, and speaking about the military and, you know, I got to get into the dick portion of my list here. I don't
know how I'm going to transition from that to what I have.
But there was something that happened at Luke Air Force Base where I was stationed here in Glendale, Arizona. Uh-huh. And I guess one of the fighter jets, one of the F-35s, like with their vapor trails or whatever, they drew like a dick over the base. And I guess this isn't the first time that this has happened.
So that's how it starts.
So even our fighter pilots think that's funny.
So that's what I'm saying. That's where it all begins.
Yeah. I mean, it happened recently. If you guys Google it, you can find it. And I guess Luke put out a statement saying that it was a coincidence that it happens to look like a dick. But the Navy also got busted with one of their F-18s doing that somewhere else. Like it's same exact. And you can see, I think in the Navy video, like you can see where he's like you can see in the video where he's actually drawing it, the lines. That's so yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. But
crazy. So I had lunch with a really good friend of mine. He's been a spiritual mentor and relationship mentor of mine. And I'm excited because we're going to have him on our podcast as a guest.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And so he's just an awesome guy. Been married for, I think he said 25 years. And he had brought something up that I thought was very interesting. And he was talking about relationships.
Yeah.
And he said that when women are unhappy, a lot of times they want to get together with their girls, right? Like, I'm going to have a girls' night out, or, you know what? I need to get with my girls. I need to get with my girls. Like, that's something that we do a lot. I mean, I haven't done that.
You don't
and
do
I don't
that.
know how long, but I understand because I used to want to do that.
Yeah.
And he had brought up, he said, what I don't understand is that they're getting together with a bunch of girls that are going to be rambling about how their husband sucks and everything that they do wrong, instead of getting with someone who has a great relationship.
Yeah. Instead of seeking counsel from where you should.
Right. And when he said that, it made me realize that a lot of my mentors and coaches are the opposite sex.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And like with him, we'll get into our story and how we met. But he's been there, for me to give me advice on us because of our different beliefs.
Yeah.
And he's helped coach me through a lot of things, that we've gone through.
Yeah.
So it just made me realize that I am on the right path.
Yeah, it's true. Like, we've also learned, I mean, I think it's been through like the network marketing business. Like, when you want something, you have to go to the people that have it,
right,
and get advice from them. If you're having a situation, you go to people that have dealt with that successfully and get advice from them on how they did it.
Right.
You don't go, and get financial advice from somebody who's been in financial trouble their whole life, or from people that have jacked up relationships. Why would you get relationship advice from somebody that's got all kinds of messed up relationships?
Right.
Like, you go to people that have what you want.
Yes.
Back to the dicks. So there was
For
another.
real?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I forgot
just
my
kidding.
book.
What happened? What book?
The book I was going to talk to them about, The Two Chairs.
Oh, it's right over there. You want to go grab it? Go get it. There was something that I was going to mention. You can hear it while.
You're funny.
What?
He's saying that because he knows I'm wearing bikini bottoms.
Oh,
You
no,
want
I
me to
didn't
get
even
up?
mention that. Yeah,
Shut
today's
up.
a suit jacket, bikini bottoms type of day.
Right? And what about you?
Hey, I'm just wearing a T-shirt and shorts.
Okay, but
And
that's one of...
flip-flops.
Hold up. So that's one of Miguel's fancy T-shirts.
No, it's not. It's a
Yes, it is.
T-shirt.
When we go out, like go somewhere, that's the shirt you wear.
Well, that's because I have this, and I have helicopter and work shirts.
Okay.
And I ran through all the other shirts that I have, so
You're
I'm
hilarious.
cycling the other ones in.
So
Anyway,
yeah.
you wanna go get it?
anyways.
actually, you want me to go get it?
Yeah.
You'd rather I go get it? All right.
So anyways, I want to bring up, introduce you guys to this book. And when I went to go visit my friend Paul, this book was sitting on his table in his office. He owns an American family insurance company. And so this book was sitting on the center table. And I just started reading the introduction. I'm like, ooh, this is very interesting. So I asked him if I can borrow it. And I've actually almost read the book in like 2 days because I haven't been able to put it down. And I think before I get into this book, I know I'm jumping, but we have a question.
Yeah.
And then because this is something I wanted to refer to her.
Okay.
But we had a question from one of our listeners. And her question is, now that she's more educated. So she said, what do you think of religion? And as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh,
Here we go.
That's
all good.
between us. So she said, now that I am more educated on biology, the whole theory about how God created everything doesn't seem logical. I believe that there is a higher being because I believe in miracles, but I honestly want to believe everything started from a bacteria that multiplied. So when I read that, at first, the first thing that I thought was, she must be a huge sinner if she really wants to believe.
No.
I'm just teasing.
No.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
But this is a serious question. And
don't worry, my wife will pray for you.
This, and it hits home because I used to go to church every day.
Not every day. Every week.
Every week.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I consider myself, I don't even know if I can say this, like a, Christian woman.
Yeah. See, it gets complicated.
It does get complicated because how can I say that if I don't believe that the only way is Jesus Christ? And that they're just saying that hits me to the core.
Why?
Because
you want to believe.
Because the negative effects of it.
Of what?
Of heaven and hell. And, if you don't believe, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I push all that aside, I push it all aside because I know God. I have a personal relationship with God. And He is the one that directs me. He's the one who guides me. And so I have that relationship. And so God is love. God is love.
Okay.
And God is not judgmental. And He's all about forgiveness. And so when I see someone like you who is loving, caring, and you do good, you serve people, you do good. We've been talking about, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, just doing, we need to do more things.
Yeah, you've always supported me with whatever kind of volunteer work I did, and you're a good man.
It's not because of the Bible. It's just I feel...
that's who you are.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
In the Bible, it says God knows your heart.
Okay.
And my God tells me the same thing. God knows your heart. He knows if you're evil or, knows...
Yeah. I think
religion to me, it's man-made. It's man-made.
Okay.
And so I do believe in God.
But you're not sure what God is. Is that it?
God is everything. God is the universe. God is everything. He's everything. Okay. And so this is a hard question, but that's why I wanted to refer you to this book, The Two Chairs, because it talks to you about prayer, meditation, listening, and finding God, your inner God. And this is what I was doing this.
Well, doing what? What is it that the book is doing? What is the Two Chairs about?
The Two Chairs is about having a quiet time for you to talk to God, but not just talk to God, listen for Him. Listen for Him. And the Two Chairs is, basically exactly what it says. You pull up two chairs, which him
one
and I,
for you,
we
one is
meet
for God.
On the lawn chair. And there's only one lawn chair.
So your book would be two lawn chairs.
Well, no, because it's the same lawn chair.
Yeah.
But he's just sitting in the front of the lawn chair.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that,
it's having your conversation with God.
Yes.
So I remember there's a book that we've read, Think and Grow Rich. Mm-hmm. And that book is by Napoleon Hill. It's a business book. It's about business and mindset. And it's about the most successful people in history and the traits that they had in common. One of the things that they would do is they had a mastermind group. And I remember in that book, one of the things that one of the business people used to do is that he would sit down and his group was like a mental thing. He took people in history that he looked up to, like Abraham Lincoln and I don't know, all kinds of famous people that had character, that did the right thing, people that he looked up to. Mm-hmm. And he would kind of sit down and imagine the problems that he was having and how they would handle it. So, I mean, I think that's kind of similar. But, I mean, this is a conversation with God. And these are conversations with people of the past. And if you know them or you know how they would act, you would know how they would, deal with certain situations. Does that make sense or not really?
No. I mean, this listener, she's a good person.
Yeah.
Her thing is she was brought up Catholic.
Yeah.
Her family didn't really attend Mass. I know.
It's pretty standard.
So I know her because I used to date her brother.
Okay.
And so I was with him for a while.
What?
And that's how you know I'm a good person, because I'm friends with all my ex's families and their mothers.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's her thing.
Yeah.
She had another question.
I think, well, to the question that you just read, I think her viewpoint is very similar to mine in a certain way. I mean, the whole bacteria thing, this is the thing, is that I just don't know.
Yeah.
There was I should have looked it up before, but I think this guy's name was Fracesco something. You guys can Google it, but there was an Italian scientist, and he did this experiment, because this is one thing, like, you have the Big Bang Theory. I don't know too much about it. It's like two rocks that crashed into each other and energy happened and then the universe was created or whatever.
From two rocks?
Exactly. So what this guy was saying was that life doesn't come from things that are not living. Like, you can't just have a rock in the middle of a room and then all of a sudden a flower grows out of it or life comes from it. And one thing that back in the day they would say, like, well, if you had a rotting piece of meat or flesh, like an animal was killed or died, eventually you would see maggots that would grow in the animal. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know where those maggots came from. Like, it seemed like it just came from nowhere. So how is it that this dead thing can give life to maggots and then eventually they turn into flies? So what this guy did is he did an experiment where he took the meat and put it in a jar, or different pieces, and put them in jars, and he covered one with like gauze. And he saw that some of, like, the maggots would grow in the meat, and then some it would grow in the gauze. So you could tell that a fly, even though you couldn't see it, that a fly would land on the meat. Mm-hmm. So that's where, like, living things have to come from living things, it seems like. And that's what this guy's experiment proved. And it's kind of hard to, like, that's why, like, we were talking about, like, evolution and, like, if we came from apes, and then, well, if we evolved from apes, if apes had to evolve from something else, and then
right.
that had to come from something else,
right.
and then something else. So if you trace it all the way back, like, where, that is, like, the biggest question, the biggest mystery in the world,
right.
is, like, where did that come from? So that's why I feel like I can't say that there is no God, because it had to be started by something.
Right.
What I think is that most people don't even really know. Like, and I don't know if God has an effect on us now. Like, it might have started what turned into everything else, but it may not have an effect on us today. That was just whatever created the first thing. I don't know. I don't know.
On us today.
God. Like, if there was something that created this bacteria, why does that thing that created the bacteria have to have so much power over the entire universe and your life and your thoughts and everything that happens?
So that's why I'm so excited to have my friend Paul on the podcast, because he has many questions, and a lot of the things we get very combative, I guess.
Not really. We just talk about it.
Well, before we used to get really combative. And it's hard to explain, because I have testimony after testimony after testimony where God has did some things. And once you feel that, there's nothing like that. And that's why he's like, well, how do you know? I'm like, I just know. Like, I know 100% that there is God. And it's so hard because it's not something that you can explain. It's like going to a concert and trying to explain that feeling. Maybe it's a concert that you've been wanting to go to forever. But in order for you to get the feel for what was taking place, you have to be there. Like, you have to be there. So anyways.
And I mentioned it on one of the other podcasts. Like, there's people that I know, people that I love, people that I trust that tell me these things, and I know they wouldn't lie to me. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand it. you know, and what she was talking about miracles, like, I don't know if I believe in miracles, because just like you have extremes of things, just like you have miracles where somebody has cancer and all of a sudden it goes away and it can't be explained. You also have a parent that leaves their house and they have 3 kids and they get hit by a car, or they're in a car accident and they just die out of nowhere. I mean, that is the opposite of a miracle.
No, there's reasons for everything that happens.
And that's God.
He has a plan.
And that's where, you know, I think if you can't only look at the miracles, because there's a lot of unexplained bad things that happen.
Yeah. Like my sister passing away at the age of 34, and that entire situation. Like if that never happened, if my sister was here today, think about where my nephews and my nieces would. I understand. My niece would be.
I understand, but that is a specific situation, because there's also, so I could leave here and go to the store and get hit by a car. Like, is that I mean, what would that be?
You don't know that. I wouldn't know that day. If that were to happen, I wouldn't know what his plan was. What if
that changes? I mean, because you know that there's people that something like that happens to them and it completely ruins their life. So what is that then?
That's the plan. Like, there's a plan for everybody. There's a purpose for everybody. There's a purpose, and there's a lesson in everything that happens.
Yeah.
You know, with my mom getting hit by that truck, it brought everybody together. It made me wake up.
Yes.
My sister wake up. It made her wake up, her husband wake up.
And that's where we were talking about perspective before. So even something bad can happen, but it just all depends on how you look at it. Mm-hmm. But there are some things that are just bad things that happen, and it's hard to explain. It's the exact opposite of a miracle.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm getting with her. So I'm going to talk to her, and I've been sending her videos. I love listening to Oprah Winfrey, Super Soul Conversation. That's helped me a lot. She has different people that come on to the podcast to talk about their different experience with God. And she has people from all over. And so it's pretty interesting. But I can tell you that the bottom line of every religion, when they mention God, like God is love and God is everything. Like, that's the one thing that they had in common. Every religion, everyone that went on there.
Yeah.
And prayer and meditation. So this book is absolutely amazing. So if you're that person who you're not sure, you know, you want to believe, but you don't know, this book here, I'm telling you, will open your eyes. Because I've been thinking about, like, I feel that I'm here to wake people up, to help people to get to know who God is.
Yeah.
And that's why I started doing
you're still trying to figure some of that
a lot of Facebook Live. That's why I started doing that, like telling people to slow down, be present, be here, right? Don't take time for granted. Family is number one.
Yeah.
You know? Anyways.
So she had another part, right?
Absolutely amazing. Yes. And so the second part was, I didn't write it down, but her mom, her son's not baptized.
Okay.
And her mom's Catholic. And the mom refuses to go to any of his birthday parties. And she told our listener, listen, if you don't get him baptized, I'm done. I'm not going to any birthday parties. And she said that she stuck by her word. Like, she's only been to one birthday party. And I think he is as old as Audrey. So he's about maybe 9 years old. And so she's like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. She's like, because I don't know what I believe. And my mom doesn't even go to mass.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so Miguel and I were talking about that because we have one kid that's baptized, and she's just a little angel. That's my little baby, my little love child.
And the other one takes his toothbrush into his room for God knows what. Right?
One's baptized, the other one is not. So, hey, if baptism is what she wants, this is what I suggest. And even though you're not sure, you know, what you believe right now, but you did say that you believe in miracles, you believe in a higher power, but anyways, let your mom.
So what I was thinking, like we were talking about this,
yes.
And the reason that my daughter is baptized is because my mom set it up.
Yeah.
And we just haven't set up anything for my son. Mm-mm. And it's not that I believe.
Well, your Nina wants to
if they want to
baptize
do
him.
it, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I'm not going out of my way to look up if somebody's like, hey, you want to get him baptized? I'm like, yeah, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah. See, and
like you splashing water on his head is not going to make him different.
And that's not it. And that's the Catholic belief. Okay.
Whatever.
Christianity, it's a little different. They do it when they're old enough to understand who Jesus Christ is. See, me, on the other hand, which I was telling you, is like, I want to get baptized, but it's not because, it's more for my relationship with God. So if he's like, that's the case, why don't I just baptize you? And I look at him like this, like, what do you mean? You don't even believe in God.
Well, I'm just saying, why do you need some magic ritual so that you can have a better why does somebody have to splash water on your head so that you can have a better relationship with God?
And I don't feel that, but it's something that I want to do. It's something personal. And our daughter asked to be baptized as well. So it would be good for her and I to do it together, not only for a bonding experience, but she believes in God. And so anyways, back to you. This is what we were talking about. We
struggle with this today.
Yeah. We said, hey, if she wants it, let her plan it, right?
Yeah.
Let her pay for it.
You'll be like, hey, you want to do it? Knock yourself out.
Listen.
Because,
that's her mom. And her mom is not getting...
That's kind of jacked up, though.
It is. But it's her mom. And her mom is not getting any younger. Like, she's older. I mean... She looks great, though. But, I mean, she's one of those Mexican moms. Ooh, like your abuela. Exactly. Yeah. Strong. I mean, this woman knows her stuff. Yeah. She's been great in real estate. She's a smart woman. She's a strong woman. Raised 4 or 5 kids on her own.
Yeah.
So, you have one mom. Tell her. Let her do it. Let her pay for it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt him. And it will... bring you and your mom,
back together.
And I think that that's what's important. So tell her, hey, I think, Mom.
And you can accommodate to a point. Yeah. Because at a certain point, it's like, all right, I'm not going crazy with this thing. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I had read about, I don't know how I don't know if I saw it in my Facebook feed. Oh, I think I did see it in my Facebook feed. Somebody had posted something about Eminem, the rapper.
Oh, I thought she said meant the candy?
No, not the M&Ms. Not the ones that you put in your little jars. No, the rapper. And I guess over the last week, like they pulled up one of his old songs where he said, I think over the years, he's kind of stayed away from, I mean, he's a white guy, so he stays away from saying the N-word or, the culture that he's in is, it's a black culture.
Yeah.
But they found a song where he was saying some pretty negative things about black women. Something I can't remember, but something to the effect that, like, they're dumb chicks and I wouldn't date them or something like that, or I would date a white girl instead or something. I don't know. But this song was like 20 years old. And Eminem kind of came out and said that, at that time when he wrote that, that he was very angry, that he was an angry person and he was in a bad place and that he doesn't feel like that. And he made a mistake. Right? But people are like, no, fuck that. Like, you said that and that's messed up and you should never say that. But I think today there's nothing that you can do sometimes to make people happy. Like, he already apologized and said that he made a mistake.
Right.
But they're like, oh, no, that's racist. And maybe what he wrote and what he said was kind of racist, but people change. I mean, if you look at some of the shit that I did 20 years ago or 15 years ago, I'm not proud of some of the things. I'm sure the same thing with you. People change over the years. Right. No, totally change. And one thing with, it kind of made me think of, like, politicians. Like a politician when they have a campaign and they'll say, they'll bring up old stuff. They're always bringing up old stuff. Like, oh, this person voted for this. Or like, let's say marijuana, about weed. Like, they were against weed back in the day. But now they can see, maybe there's studies that are done, that it's really not as bad for you as they thought it was. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be a narcotic the way they thought it was. And they changed their opinion. But people want to go back and they're like, oh, look, this guy's a flip-flopper. Or he just goes with whatever. It doesn't matter. And it's like, well, no, maybe that's not the case. Maybe they actually changed their mind based off of facts and like, you know, like they saw more, they got more information.
Yeah.
And they actually changed. Like, people are allowed to change their minds.
Right. Well, that's what I was super nervous about starting doing this podcast with you. Like, I told you stuff about me that you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people are going to see this that have known me way back in the day. And they're going to be like, what? She's talking about God and this and this and that. And I remember when she used to it's like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
No, so same people thing. Change. And then, I am not the same person that I was years ago. Not even
maybe
a
5
couple years ago.
10 years
even
ago.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, it's not, and people change. It happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of sad sometimes when you see like people going back through the same thing. Well, as far as
years.
apologizing,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so he apologized. Was it a pat? Was it pat? Like it was it?
Like
was
a
it
sincere
a real
apology?
Sincere
apology?
I think.
I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Have you seen it?
No, I read the article about it. But a similar thing happened with Kevin Hart. Like, he was gonna be the host for the Oscars, and then they pulled up like some old shit that he had tweeted or said or something. I can't remember exactly what the situation was. And Kevin Hart was like, "Look, I'm sorry for what I said," and you know, I think he wanted to step down from the Oscars so that he didn't bring attention. He's like, that's not what this night is about. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about, you know, the actors and whatever's going on. Right. But, you know, it's like old stuff. And he apologized. But, I mean, at least for people in the media, maybe, like, there's these groups of people that, like, apologize. Like, that's not enough. Like, we want more. Like, you can have the most sincere apology. And you just can't. You can't give them that.
I mean,
it's like, you know what? I already said I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sincere about it. And you're not going to hear about this again. No. This is it.
Yeah. And there's just some people that are that way. You know, you and I know people that are, you know, like that. By the way, I have a question for you.
What?
How many friends do you have on Facebook?
I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like 400 maybe? 400 something? 500 something?
Okay.
Why?
So I have close to 3,000 or something like that.
Dang.
No. And the reason why I'm saying this is because social media has changed the meaning, the real meaning of what friends are.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I don't have 400 friends.
I mean, when was the last time you had a a true, like, real conversation with someone? Wait, I can answer this. He had a sleepover the other day.
I had a sleepover the other day?
You had a sleepover. Oh, my God.
I had a drunk friend stay the night.
Dude, he wasn't drunk when he got here. You planned the sleepover. You had a sleepover.
I said, hey, we're moving this party from the bar to the house.
He had a slumber party.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Nice.
So I was fasting. So they came with, you know, they were getting hammered. Okay, that's it. They were getting hammered. I'm outside by the pool reading my books.
She's reading the Bible. We're inside getting drunk, taking shots.
So I come inside to check on them. And this was later on in the night. And you guys were having some really deep conversations. Well, and I thought that was pretty cool because you guys were drunk out of your mind.
Yeah.
Like you and your sleepover friend.
Yeah.
What do you mean everybody? It was just you and him.
Well, earlier in the day.
Oh, there was, Blake and his girl. But anyway, so you had a meaningful conversation that night if you don't remember it. But this is serious stuff that I'm talking about. I mean, think about, when was the last time you had a real conversation with a real friend? Someone that you've known for many, many years.
It doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. But we're so worried about how many friends do you have on Facebook? How many friends that you have on Facebook? And this is what happens. So this is what I feel what church is. Church is a community of people. Sometimes when you get into the right church, it's a community of people that truly love you, respect you, and want the best for you.
Yeah, but church is like 3,000 people, just like your friends on Facebook.
Church for the Nations, the one that I went to, it's a smaller church. But you got to find one that, where you can fit in anyways, and you feel that you have that close relationship with. But if you don't have that, where do you go when life comes at you? When the perfect marriage that you thought you had comes crumbling down, or you lose a family member, or you're over your head in debt and you feel you're suffocating and you feel alone.
So what about if not just church, but what about a community?
Well, that's
because
what I'm saying.
If you have, let's say your kids play softball, and you're involved, and there's a whole bunch of parents, and the parents get together, and you get close to the parents.
But that's what I was. Calm down, buddy.
No, I was just asking.
Well, that's what I was saying, though. I just brought up church because a lot of the people I know, they have that community at church, but you can have that anywhere where you can find. Just think about it. When was the last time you had a deep, meaningful conversation with someone? And I feel that that's very important to have. Like, I was reading, I don't know which book it was, but it was talking about how today we're so worried about how many friends that we have on Facebook. And those friends aren't people that you can call and say, listen, my husband cheated on me. My wife left me.
Yeah.
I'm depressed.
I got a drinking problem. Yeah.
And so when they mentioned this, I realized how true that is.
Yeah. And I think that truly you can only have like a handful of really like close relationships.
Right.
You can't have just really close relationships with hundreds of people.
No.
Like on Facebook.
I mean, I don't know half of the friends that I have on Facebook. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Not like their families, their children's date of birth, like knowing
their
them.
birthdays. Yeah.
I do have some that I can go to when things are getting tough and that I could reach out to and talk to, but most of the time when we get into these deep, dark places, we do it alone.
Yeah.
And that just ends up becoming a whirlpool of no good.
Yeah. You make bad decisions.
Right. Yeah. So your job, listeners, is to, and they say that a lot of them, like we have these people that God brings into our life to have these deep, meaningful conversations with, but because we're so busy with our friends on Facebook that we haven't reunited with the true friends that we have. So your job is to go back and find those true friends and make a lunch date or a dinner date with them and find out how they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had a good conversation with my brother earlier in the week. And yeah, he is... You're
talking about Alan?
My brother Alan. Yeah,
I miss you.
Yeah.
I miss you.
Yeah.
He's so fun.
He's great.
So funny.
And you know what? And lately, he's been doing really good.
Good. I'm happy for him.
He's gone through some rough patches, but man, he's focused now on doing the right things, and
That's
you can
awesome.
tell. So it's really cool, and I'm happy to see it.
Sorry. That's all growth, though. I mean, think about all the hard times.
It's
that
immaturity.
We've been through.
It takes time because like we talked about on one of the other podcasts. It takes time. It takes time. It takes experience going through things to learn and to get fed up. With stuff.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, we talked for a while and we had a good conversation. But yeah, we got to find more people that we have like that. And really, like you said, there's only maybe not even a handful of people that I have like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Good stuff.
So we also started kind of like a diet, right? 90-day challenge.
Oh,
right.
See, you know what? I am so confident when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it. Like,
we've been
my
a mess lately,
mindset
though, with our eating and all that.
Oh, yeah. See, and I felt it. And that's why I did the fast, just to detox.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so we're doing this 90-day challenge.
If you guys want to do it with us, you guys can do it with us. Yeah, but we're just kind of going to eat clean for as clean as we can.
Yes.
Try not to cheat, like really just not cheat for 90 days. Just kind of hit it hard.
That's going to be...
It's tough. It's not easy.
That's going to be...
We have a hard time with that, especially because food is our thing.
Yeah, it is. Like...
Especially the weekends.
When we get older...
You know, during the week is easy.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. During the week is easy because I just come home from work. We just kind of chill, lay down, and hang out. But on the weekends, like, we want to throw on a movie. And of course, when you throw on a movie and you're just hanging out with the kids, you don't feel like making dinner. So when you don't feel like making dinner, you just want to grab something quick.
Yeah.
Which is usually garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the next 90 days.
But how bad is that? Like, if we were just to pick a day, like Saturday, this is where self-discipline comes into place.
Yeah.
Like Saturday, maybe
only Saturday
lunch.
night or lunch or whatever.
Eating late at night, which we love to do. I mean,
Oh yeah. We'll get the worst of the worst and tear stuff up at night.
That is our thing.
But
look at our son in the back. He's so cute. Aww.
Where's his toothbrush?
That's our pink baby.
So, yeah. So for 90 days, we're gonna hit it hard, and we'll see what happens.
What happens? We're gonna do it.
I mean, we will do it. We always do it.
Hold up. It's not going to be 90 days because we're going to Mexico.
So we already talked about this.
Yeah.
So that we will be going to Mexico next month, but that is the only asterisk in this deal. Like when we go to Mexico, we're letting off.
Okay, good.
But then once we're back, or maybe while my mom is here, but after that, you know.
But your mom does keto, so she'll be fine.
Yeah, and primarily what we're doing is just cutting out the carbs, cutting out the sugar.
It's pretty much keto.
But I don't even really do keto too much. Like, I don't eat as much of the fat, but what I do is I cut out the carbs and the sugar.
Right.
And man, like we can do some damage in one sitting. Like with the pizza and the ice cream and all that stuff. Like that's what makes it hard, is that you can make all this progress in 1 week or in 6 days and completely jack it up in one night.
I know. Like that. Like, it's so hard to take off the weight. And it is so easy, and it's just so good.
So delicious.
To put it back on.
Yeah. So.
But you know what I don't like? The feeling that I get. Like,
afterward.
I don't like feeling unhealthy.
I told you.
Feeling unhealthy. Like, this morning, like, I'm drinking a green drink, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this. Like, with every meal.
Yeah,
I need a green drink with every meal. Because we need to eat more vegetables, and we do in the dinner, but for dinner, but for breakfast, you know, we don't, and that's why I had a green drink for us this morning.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
all right, awesome.
You know, I noticed last week. I think last week when we decided like this is our last day. No, yeah, I think it was a Saturday. We had pizza. We had all kinds of stuff, and I remember going to work or waking up the next day, and I think I told you I was like, I feel like I've been drinking. Like, I felt almost like hungover and sluggish. And I hadn't drank a drop. Like, it was just, my body was just not feeling the food.
Yeah.
So, anyway, for 90 days, we're gonna hit it hard.
You know, like staying in tune with how your body feels after eating junk.
Yeah.
Carbs,
so if you guys want to do it with us, you can do it with us. You can let us know how things are going, your progress. We'll be talking about it, you know, over the next coming weeks and how it's going. I'll probably end up losing like 15 pounds.
Yeah. Dude, you look really buff in the camera.
Nah.
You do.
No. The camera adds 10 pounds of fat. Anyway, get off of me.
Ooh, I almost spilled the water. That would have not been good. All right.
Yeah. So
let's go jump in the pool.
Yeah, it is. It's about that time for us to jump in the pool.
Hey, look, I actually put some like makeup on. You can see it, right? I don't look so pale.
You look great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, because I threw some more. Like the camera, you can't really see.
Yeah.
So I had to add some more. And
there you go. So anyway, so thank you guys for listening. This is we're getting down to the end of the podcast. We want to mention that this podcast is brought to you by TrustInkUSA.com. That's TrustInkUSA.com. Take it away, babe.
We are a nationwide mobile notary service, so it doesn't matter where you live, we got your back. We do some work with title companies, law firms, and individuals as well. So as long as you need that stamp, you need something notarized, we got your back. You can stop at our website or give us a call and we'll get you taken care of. We are also independent associates with Legal Shield, which gives you access to law firms at the palm of your hand. What I love about Legal Shield is that we provide free wills, living wills, medical power of attorney, and we actually update that for you once a year for free. So if you have some kids that are acting crazy, take them out of your will and put the good ones in.
So last week or the week before, we talked about the situation that we were having. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that the attorneys were going to write a letter on our behalf. And I happened to get that letter in my email. And I completely forgot. I haven't even read the letter yet. I have to approve it so that they can send it.
Let them know we want the final draft too, because I want a copy of that.
Yes. No, they'll send us a final draft. So they sent us a copy of the letter to approve it, and they can change anything. Like if we want them to make it more aggressive or whatever, we can let them know. They can update it, and then they'll send out the letter. But I can read the little bit of the letter real quick. So it says, Dear Mr. Whatever, we write on behalf of Mr. Miguel Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez posted photographs of his children wearing your company's product, described as kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gi, children BJJ gi kimonos lightweight, and in his review on Amazon. And then it says to confirm where we posted it. Unfortunately, Mr. Ramirez reports that you have now placed the photographs of his children in the description of your product. See the enclosed copies of the screenshots. Mr. Ramirez previously requested that you remove these photographs. Months ago, you promised you would do so. However, to date, they remain on your Amazon product listing. Please note that Mr. Ramirez created the photos of his children. As such, he has full copyright. We have advised him of his legal rights in this matter. Specifically, he is entitled to any damages and any money you have gained by using his work without permission. The 2 photographs you posted of Mr. Ramirez's children constitute 2/7 of the photographs in the description. That is more than 25% of the photographs displayed. Besides the product are photographs of Mr. Ramirez's children, which you used without permission. The appealing photographs of Mr. Ramirez's children likely earned your company substantial sales. And then it goes on from there. But
very cool.
That's what I'll finish reading it. I'll
hopefully
approve it.
It's because I would like it more aggressive. So I'm sure towards the end
we can work on it.
Okay.
But
and that's what I love about this, because I was a paralegal for 8 years. And what I love about this is that we have control. So we got the letter. We'll look over the letter. And if I feel that it's not aggressive enough, we can call the attorneys back and say, listen, letter sounds great, but I need it to be more aggressive. And they will do just that.
And one of the great things is that because this is a monthly membership.
It's $24.95 a month, by the way. There's no contracts.
And it varies depending on the state that you're in. But because this is something that, it's kind of like a legal insurance, you could say, you don't have to worry about how much it's going to cost. Because this may be a small issue that you would never call an attorney for. But because you have it, you don't have to think about it. You can just call them and have them help you.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
That's great. Another thing, our podcast, the way our podcast grows is the best is by being shared. So if you guys enjoy the podcast, please give us a thumbs up in the YouTube video. Make sure you leave comments. Mm-hmm. Make sure you share with the people that you know. We talked about religion. I think that's something that might be able to help people out or just kind of get different perspectives on things.
Right. But questions.
Send us questions.
Be happy to answer any questions that you have for Miguel, the motivational landscaper.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or serious questions.
But more than anything, just share the podcast with those that you know. Share it with your friends. Our podcast is now everywhere. So I looked it up. It's also on iHeartRadio, which is something that I know somebody told me they listened to. And it finally came up there.
If you would like to be a guest on our podcast.
Yes, that's another thing. Yes. We ordered another microphone, another headset. So pretty soon we'll be able to get some guests on here, which will be cool.
That's pretty exciting.
We're on Twitter at We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Everything is at Opposite Pod. You can send us an email at oppositepod@gmail.com. And, thank you guys for listening.
One more thing. This podcast is for you. We are open to any suggestions.
Yeah, sure.
Anything that comes to mind that you would like for us to talk about, let us know. So I think that that's something that we haven't really expressed much of, but this is for you.
So thank you guys for listening. We had fun with you guys this week, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.